You are sitting at a small wooden table in a beautifully bright, busy local cafe. The heavy ceramic coffee mug is warm in your trembling hands. The golden morning sunlight is hitting the glass window right next to you. A new colleague or a new classmate sits directly across from you.
They smile warmly at you and adjust their glasses. They take a very slow, relaxed sip of their hot green tea. And then they drop the heaviest, most terrifying question in the entire English language. So, tell me a bit about yourself.
Tell me a bit about yourself. Suddenly, your human brain completely stops working. It is an absolute disaster in your mind. You forget your favorite hobbies. You forget your exact job title. You almost forget your own first name.
You feel a cold, uncomfortable drop of sweat slowly rolling down your back. You think you absolutely need to deliver a perfect, flawless, highly impressive presentation about your entire existence. But inside your stomach, you just want to stand up, push the chair back, and run out the front door of the cafe.
If this specific, overwhelming panic sounds deeply familiar to you, I want you to take a very deep, slow breath right now. You are completely normal. You are not broken, and your English is not broken. We all deeply feel this heavy, crushing pressure when all eyes are suddenly looking at us.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our safe, quiet corner of the internet. I am Emily.
And I am Felix. Hey, Emily. How is your day going today? How is your day going?
It is going very gently and quietly today. Thank you so much for asking me, Felix. I had a wonderfully slow morning with a beautiful old book and a huge warm cup of black coffee. And I am genuinely so happy to be sitting right here, sharing this space with you and all our incredible listeners around the world.
Today, we are talking about a very common, very painful struggle for adult English learners. The heavy burden of introducing yourself in English to totally new people. It almost always feels like carrying a massive backpack filled with heavy gray stones up a very steep, dangerous mountain. But our main goal for today is to quietly, gently take those heavy rocks out of your backpack, one by one.
Exactly. We want to show you with absolute certainty that you do not need to be a perfect, fluent speaker. You do not need to be a linguistic hero. You do not need to use complicated grammar from an expensive university textbook. You just need a few small, quiet steps to feel safe in your own body. Small steps that feel comfortable, soft, and natural in your mouth.
Let us look closely at what actually happens in our tired adult brains in these moments. When someone smiles nicely and says, "Tell me a bit about yourself," it feels exactly like having 80 different, complicated tabs open on your internet browser all at the same time. The computer memory is completely overwhelmed by all the information. The screen just freezes. The little wheel spins forever, and nothing happens.
That is such a perfect, accurate visual metaphor, Felix. When that overwhelming freezing happens, your mind might go completely blank. Your mind might go completely blank. Let us break this highly important phrase down together. To go completely blank. This simply means to suddenly, unexpectedly forget everything you know in a moment of stress. It is exactly like a messy, dusty classroom chalkboard that someone suddenly wiped totally clean with a wet, heavy sponge. Absolutely nothing is left on the dartboard. All the white chalk words are just washed away into nothing. For example, the manager asked me a difficult question during the big meeting, and my mind went completely blank.
Let us practice saying that together, very softly and slowly. My mind went completely blank.
My mind went completely blank.
So, how do we fix this frozen mental computer screen? We simply close all those extra, unnecessary tabs and just keep 3 or 4 highly important ones open. You do not need to deliver a 40-minute historical documentary about your life. You just need to put it all together using very simple, basic building blocks. Put it all together. Put it all together.
But before we even open our mouths to speak a single English word, let us talk about something completely invisible. I want to share a tiny, magical secret I discovered just last month. It changed my life, and it is all about your physical body language.
Oh, I truly love discussing the psychology of the body. What is this wonderful secret you found?
When we feel deeply nervous about our English grammar, we naturally try to hide. We fold our arms tight across our chests. We look down at our shoes or at the floor. We make ourselves physically very small, just like a tightly closed, taped cardboard box, waiting in a dark storage room. But if you consciously just open your physical posture, everything in your brain shifts. You just drop your shoulders away from your ears. You keep your hands uncrossed and resting gently, softly on the table. It is exactly like a tight, green flower bud finally opening its soft petals up to the warm morning sun.
That makes so much deep psychological sense, Emily. When your physical body is open and relaxed, your voice actually sounds significantly warmer and much softer. Your breathing slows down, sending a signal to your nervous system that you are not in danger. Even if your English vocabulary is very basic today, an open posture tells the other human being that you are friendly, safe, and confident.
Exactly right. It takes absolutely zero English grammar skills to have an open, relaxed physical posture. It is a gentle, purely physical trick to quietly tell your own brain to feel safe.
Now that our bodies are relaxed, let us talk about the very first block of spoken words. Talking about the place where you are from.
This specific situation happens all the time at corporate networking events or group language classes. The cheerful team leader claps their hands together and says, "Let us go around the room." Go around the room. Go around the room. Let us carefully break this useful phrase down. This simply means every single person in the physical space takes a turn to speak, moving in a circle. It is exactly like passing a beautiful, delicious slice of chocolate cake to every single guest sitting at a large, round holiday dinner table. Everyone gets a turn to hold the plate. For example, before we start the creative workshop today, let's go around the room and share our first names.
Try repeating that softly, letting your jaw relax. Let's go around the room.
Let's go around the room.
When the invisible plate of cake finally reaches your chair, it is your turn to speak. You take a breath, state your beautiful name, and mention your origin. But our modern world is wonderfully complicated, and many of us live in new places far away from our childhood homes. So you can use this beautiful, soft, naturally flowing phrase. I'm originally from, but now I live in. I'm originally from, but now I live in.
I use this specific, elegant phrase all the time when I travel across Europe. Let us break its meaning down very carefully. Originally from refers to the exact geographical place where you were born or where you played as a small child. It is exactly like the deep, hidden, dark soil where the roots of a giant tree first started growing many years ago. But the second part, but now I live in, means the new place where your green branches are actively growing in the sun today. For example, I'm originally from the south of Italy, but now I live in a quiet neighborhood in Spain.
Try saying it aloud with us, feeling the rhythm of the words. I'm originally from Italy, but now I live in Spain.
And if your current living situation is just for a short, temporary period of time, you have another excellent, highly precise option. I'm currently living in. Let us look at the beautiful word currently. It simply means right now, at this exact, fleeting moment in time. Think of it like a dark blue car parked on a quiet residential street. The car is resting here right now, but absolutely everybody knows it might start its engine and drive away to a completely new city next month. For example, I'm currently living in rainy London for my advanced university studies.
I'm currently living in London.
So I want you to imagine the cafe scene again. You have opened your tight posture. You have smiled a real, genuine human smile. You have shared your beautiful name and the city of your roots with the group. You are doing incredibly great, and the absolute hardest, scariest part is already behind you.
Next, people usually are very curious about your daily life, your routines, or your daily work. The classic, very safe textbook phrase that everyone learns in school is, I work as a. I work as a.
For example, I work as a senior software developer.
I work as a software developer.
But what if you deeply want to sound a little bit more modern, a bit more casual, and much more natural? What native speakers actually say on the street is much shorter and requires less effort. You can simply say, I'm in, and then just add your broad professional industry. I'm in.
Let us break this tiny, brilliant phrase down. Saying, I am in marketing is so much shorter and easier than saying, I work as a senior digital marketing project manager. It is exactly like pointing your finger at a massive, towering glass apartment building and saying, I live inside that building. You absolutely do not need to give the stranger your exact floor and your exact room number yet. It comfortably and safely covers everything you do in that general professional field. For example, I'm in healthcare.
I'm in healthcare.
I'm in international finance.
I'm in finance.
Now, let us slowly move forward to the absolute best, most joyful part of any introduction. Your precious, hard-earned free time.
This is the exact magical moment where you finally become a real, complex human being to them, not just a worker machine in a suit. The standard, slightly boring way to say this is, in my free time, I like to... In my free time, I like to...
In my free time, I like to bake fresh, warm bread.
But we can easily and gently upgrade this vocabulary to sound so much more vibrant and natural. To show real, genuine human emotion and energy, use this wonderful conversational phrase. I'm really into. I'm really into.
Let us look very closely at this specific phrase. To be really into something means you love it deeply, and you spend your time on it gladly. Imagine being slowly, gently pulled into a warm, comfortable swimming pool on a very hot summer day. You are completely surrounded by the soft water, and you are totally happy to be there. For example, I'm really into vintage black and white film photography.
I'm really into vintage film photography.
Another slightly more formal, but very lovely and emotional option is I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about.
I'm passionate about local street animal rescue.
I'm passionate about local animal rescue.
Now, what if you have two beautiful, completely different hobbies you want to share with your new friend? You need a gentle, sturdy verbal bridge to connect these two ideas smoothly, without sounding like a robot reading a list. You can use the excellent, highly natural connecting phrase, on top of that. On top of that.
This phrase is such a lovely, natural building block for your sentences. It simply means additionally, or also, but it sounds much more visual. Imagine making a warm, fluffy pancake on a lazy Sunday morning. You put a nice, golden pancake on the white ceramic plate. And then, on top of that, you slowly pour thick, sweet, dark maple syrup. The syrup does not ruin the pancake. It just beautifully adds extra flavor and richness to what is already sitting right there. For example, I am in digital marketing. And on top of that, I run a small, quiet food blog from my kitchen.
On top of that, I run a small food blog.
Emily, earlier today, before we started recording, you mentioned a brilliant personal psychological trick you use for this exact hobby section. Can you please share it in detail with our listeners today?
Yes, absolutely. I would love to share this. This little mental trick was a huge, magnificent game changer for my own social anxiety. I call it the honest, gentle icebreaker. When I talk about the things I am into, I deliberately and intentionally add a tiny, slightly funny confession about my own failures.
Give us a real practical example of how you actually do that in a conversation.
Well, I usually smile, soften my eyes, and say, I am really into cooking fancy dinners, but I somehow manage to burn the white rice every single time.
That is absolutely brilliant, and it is so naturally charming. Why do you think that specific strategy works so well in human conversations?
Because absolute, flawless perfection is deeply, deeply boring to the human brain. Perfection feels very cold, hard, and unapproachable, exactly like a smooth white marble statue standing alone in a silent museum. You can look at the statue, but you cannot hug it. But calmly admitting a tiny, harmless, silly flaw makes you look human, warm, and real. It makes you look like a comfortable, slightly worn-out wool sweater. It almost always makes the other person physically smile or laugh quietly into their coffee cup. And suddenly, as if by magic, all the heavy, nervous tension in the air just completely disappears.
That is so profoundly, wonderfully true. It silently, gently gives the other person permission to drop their heavy shield and relax their shoulders too. They might immediately laugh and reply, "Oh my goodness, I am terribly bad at cooking too. I only eat frozen pizza." And boom, just like that, you instantly have a real, authentic human connection that is not based on pretending to be perfect. But, Emily, let me ask a very serious question from the perspective of our anxious listeners. What if I start speaking bravely, using all these nice phrases, and suddenly I just totally forget my English words? What if the absolute worst happens and the cold panic comes rushing back into my chest?
I hear this deeply anxious question all the time from my adult students. And first, I want to completely, totally validate that terrible fear. It is genuinely scary and very physically uncomfortable to forget simple words in a foreign language while someone is looking right at you. In natural spoken English, we say you might lose your train of thought. Lose your train of thought.
Let us deeply break this famous, highly visual idiom down. To lose your train of thought means to suddenly, completely forget what you were just saying in the middle of a sentence. Imagine your spoken ideas are connected physically together, just like heavy metal train cars moving confidently on a steel track. Suddenly, the metal connection between the cars breaks, and the back cars just silently, slowly roll away down the green hill. You are left standing there, looking at an empty track. For example, "I am so incredibly sorry. The loud phone rang and I totally lost my train of thought."
I lost my train of thought.
When this deeply annoying blank moment happens to you, Please do not apologize endlessly.
Do not feel heavy, punishing guilt or dark shame.
Just pause your breathing for 1 second. Silence is absolutely not your enemy in this situation. Silence is just a quiet, safe, empty room where you can breathe and mentally reset your system.
You can easily use a gentle, natural filler phrase to smoothly buy yourself a few precious seconds of time. Just look up slowly at the ceiling, relax your jaw, and say softly, "Let me think. Let me think."
Or you can literally ask yourself out loud, as if you are searching for a lost key. What's the word? What's the word?
Let us practice combining these naturally, acting out the forgetting process. I am really into, let me think, what's the word? Yes, I am really into indoor balcony gardening.
Let me think. What's the word? Do you hear how incredibly calm and entirely unbroken that sounds?
It sounds completely natural, totally confident, and deeply professional.
Native English speakers do this precise, exact thing every single day of their entire lives.
You are absolutely allowed to be physically tired from thinking in a second language. You are allowed to slowly search your messy mental drawers for the right vocabulary words.
Sometimes, if you are lucky, the introductory conversation gets a little bit deeper and more meaningful. People might kindly, genuinely ask why you are spending so much of your free time learning English. You can smoothly use the optimistic, forward-looking phrase, "My goal is to."
For example,
My goal is to feel completely comfortable and safe traveling abroad next year.
My goal is to feel completely comfortable traveling abroad next year.
Or you can use a slightly softer, much dreamier version of this idea.
One day, I hope to. One day, I hope to.
This phrase feels like gently planting a tiny apple seed in the dark soil, hoping it grows in the future. One day, I hope to work in a big, diverse international sales team.
One day, I hope to work in a big international sales team. Now we are slowly reaching the very end of your personal speaking turn. You have shared your roots, your job, your hobbies, and your funny little flaws. How do we elegantly, smoothly finish our introduction without being awkward? You definitely do not want to just suddenly stop talking, close your mouth tight, and stare silently at the other person.
No, that is wonderfully, terribly awkward for everybody involved. You need to wrap your spoken words up neatly, exactly like tying a bright red silk ribbon on a little paper birthday gift box. A truly great, friendly native phrase for this exact moment is, "That's me in a nutshell." That's me in a nutshell.
Let us carefully break this very interesting, ancient native idiom down. In a nutshell simply means describing a massive, complex thing, very briefly, using very few, careful chosen words. Imagine taking the entire complicated story of your human life and trying to fit it strictly inside a tiny, hard, brown walnut shell. There is absolutely no physical room for long, boring details or complicated timelines.
You can only keep the most essential, small, concentrated pieces of information.
For example, I love rescuing sad street cats. I write complicated computer code for a living, and I drink way too much iced coffee. So that's me in a nutshell.
That's me in a nutshell. And right after you gracefully close your own introduction, you absolutely must pass the conversational ball to the other person. This brings me to my absolute favorite, deeply powerful psychological method for tired language learners. The quiet, healing magic of active listening and emotional mirroring.
Please tell us a bit more about how this mirroring works in real, everyday life.
It is a proven biological scientific fact that human beings absolutely love to talk about themselves and their own lives. If you feel totally, completely mentally exhausted from speaking English, you just need to ask them one good question. Then, lean your body slightly forward, listen deeply, and gently mirror their emotions with your face. To smoothly pass the heavy conversational ball, use this simple, polite, perfectly balanced phrase. How about you? How about you?
For example, I am in graphic design, and I love painting. How about you?
How about you?
Or, if you want to be more specific, you can gracefully ask about the shared context of the physical event you are currently attending. What brings you here today? What brings you here today?
For example, I just moved into this sunny neighborhood last week and wanted to meet people. What brings you here today?
What brings you here today?
When they inevitably begin to enthusiastically answer your question, you do not need to think about grammar anymore. Just nod your head slowly in agreement. Oh, really? Or, wow, that sounds absolutely fascinating. You really do not need to do all the heavy lifting in a conversation. A truly good conversation is not a solo performance on a bright stage. It is just a slow, rhythmic, highly forgiving dance between two equal human beings. Let them take the lead for a while. Let them spin the music. It beautifully, quietly gives your tired, hard-working brain a well-deserved rest.
Let us take a slow, gentle step back and look at our entire learning journey today. We talked deeply about physically opening your posture to feel biologically safe. We covered sharing your beautiful name, your geographical roots, and your daily industry. We added a funny, totally honest icebreaker about your hobbies to show your warm humanity. We learned how to calmly pause when the train of thought derails. And we learned how to easily pass the conversation ball to let your busy brain rest.
It is a very gentle, highly forgiving, and wonderfully simple mental system. You absolutely do not have to memorize a giant, complicated, terrifying script. You do not need to write an essay on your hand. Just calmly keep these small, polished puzzle pieces in your pocket. ready to use.
To demonstrate exactly how this flows, Emily and I will now do a full, realistic role play for you.
I will pretend I am meeting Emily for the very first time at a casual morning coffee workshop.
Pay close attention to how we weave the chunks together, keeping our sentences relatively short and breathing naturally.
Hi there. I don't think we have met yet. I am Felix.
Hello, Felix. It is so nice to meet you. My name is Emily.
It is great to meet you too, Emily. Where are you originally from?
Well, I am originally from a very small, rainy town in northern England, but now I live right here in this sunny city. I moved about 3 years ago. How about you?
I am actually currently living in the city center, but I grew up in Germany.
Oh, Germany is absolutely beautiful. I visited Munich once. What kind of work do you do here?
I am in digital education, mainly focusing on creating audio content and writing scripts. What brings you to this particular workshop today?
I am in project management, but I am really trying to learn more about creative media. My goal is to eventually transition into a more creative role next year.
That sounds like a wonderful, exciting transition to make. Do you have any creative hobbies outside of your daily office work?
Yes, I am really into watercolor painting on the weekends. On top of that, I love baking fresh pastries, though I accidentally burn the croissants almost every single time I try.
That is genuinely hilarious. I am also a terrible baker, so I completely understand the struggle. I am passionate about hiking in the mountains, mostly to escape my terrible cooking at home. So that is my life in a nutshell.
It sounds like a great life, Felix.
Did you notice how relaxed and unhurried that entire exchange felt? We did not use any wildly complex grammatical structures. We just used the simple, sturdy building blocks we discussed today. We passed the conversational ball back and forth, exactly like a gentle game of tennis on a Sunday afternoon.
If you found this calm, psychological approach to learning comforting and genuinely useful, please take one tiny second to hit the like button.
It is just a tiny, entirely effortless physical click for your finger. But it quietly, powerfully helps our small educational channel grow and reach more tired, frustrated learners around the globe. And please make sure to gently click subscribe so you never miss our simple, completely stress-free English lessons. We are always here to support your personal learning journey without any of the traditional pressure, tests, or guilt.
We also want to ask you a very small, highly practical favor today. Actually, it is a safe, controlled practice exercise designed exactly for your brain. Go down to the quiet comments section directly below this video right now. Write a very short, honest introduction of yourself using a simple modular framework.
Try bravely using the exact phrase, "I'm originally from, but now I live in." Tell us what specific, beautiful hobby you are really into. And maybe bravely, openly, add a tiny honest flaw to break the ice with our community.
Writing a digital comment is an incredibly safe, zero-pressure way to practice your output. Absolutely nobody is rushing you to finish your sentence. You can take all the time you need to search your memory and choose your words carefully. We genuinely, happily read every single comment with our morning coffee, and we truly love getting to know who you really are.
Also, if you know a stressed coworker, a shy classmate, or a dear friend who always gets nervously quiet speaking English, please share this podcast link with them. Send them the video link directly in a quiet, private message. Tell them softly that they are absolutely not alone in this difficult linguistic struggle. Remember, no massive, heroic, exhausting efforts are ever needed here in our classroom. Language learning is not a violent battle against your own brain. Just take tiny, quiet, gentle, consistent steps every single day of your life.
Thank you so very much for spending your valuable, limited time with us today. You are honestly, truly doing so much better than your anxious mind thinks you are. Completely forgive your own grammar mistakes today. Keep your mental browser tabs safely closed. And keep your physical posture and your human heart wide open to the world.
Take very good, gentle care of yourselves and your minds this week. We will happily see you next time in the following podcast episode.
Goodbye, our wonderful, brave friends.